Greetings everyone, this is your host, Dr. Zeus. This is an introduction video to the channel 1/6 Baldur's Gate, which is devoted to kit bashing the canon party for the Baldur's Gate game, BG1 specifically. Please check out my blog as well, which you'll also find at 16baldursgate.com. My hope is to drum up enough interest in these figures that it can serve as a sort of proof of concept of sufficient interest among the collector community for a 1/6 figure company to consider approaching Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro to produce them. So that's the ideal, but even if that doesn't come to pass, hopefully you can enjoy coming along for the ride as I create my own custom figures for the party in 1/6 scale. My blog and these videos will serve as a do-it-yourself how-to resource to do the same thing yourself, and perhaps as such you can avoid any mistakes that I might make along the way. I'm going to assume that anyone clicking on this video already has an interest in 1/6 posable action figure collecting. For example, Hot Toys is probably the most popular product in the 1/6 realm. If not, you can search the topic on YouTube. If you're unfamiliar with the Baldur's Gate game, same thing applies. And of course you can search Google and YouTube to learn more about it. I'm beginning with the NPC character named Minsc, M-I-N-S-C. Minsc is probably the most popular character for the BG game series. I've commissioned an artist, Pedro Luan of Lux Sculpts, to make the head sculpt. You can find Pedro on Facebook. I link his page on my blog. The image shown for the head sculpt is a base STL file that's used for 3D printing. Pedro produced it from the two character portraits for BG1 and 2. Here's a bit of Pedro's work. Really impressive. Minsc is, by his own description, a really big dude. He's got tremendous physical strength among his character attributes. So I'm going to use a Thyssen M34 body for him, which is sort of the biggest, most muscular body that Thyssen has, a male body. In some of the official Wizards of the Coast concept art for Minsc, he appears as hugely muscular, actually. And in other artwork that I've seen, he's not as muscular, having more of a normal size frame. But in all events, I think that that particular body type, with that one, he's going to stand out properly as the tank that most BG players use him as. So he'll look like the character that we know in our heads anyway. Now, fortunately for a project such as this, in the BG games, the characters themselves are pretty tiny. They're pretty small, and they're pixelated and blurry. And don't worry if you've never played the game, though. Because as you would find out if you do play it, it's a fantastic game, and in an odd sort of way it works because it leaves so much to the player's imagination regarding the entire world, but also including the physical appearance of the character, although we do have great portraits for the characters. The portraits are great. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but also, you know, things like clothing, armor, weapons, all the different type of gear that characters in the game collect over the course of the adventure And for each of those items in the inventory screen, there's a sort of a hand-drawn sepia-colored picture, which also kind of leaves a lot to the imagination, and that's a good thing for the game, but also for our purposes here in trying to create the character in 1/6. It's a very sort of personalized experience, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So for this reason, there's a lot of inherent freedom to assemble the gear for each character. And in the game, as you're collecting different items for characters and swapping them out between characters, you know, it is kind of a hodgepodge or a mishmash of items. They're not coordinated, you know, in the game itself. So it's very much in the spirit of the game. And I'm gonna, for their appearance overall, not be a total slave to the character portraits. I do want to stay true to them, but in fact the only way that I could, you know, feasibly be 100% on point with their design of their gear, of their clothing, is to hire a custom artist to design it, working from the portraits. I don't think I want to go that far, at least for now, although I don't know, maybe time will tell. But to start, I'm just going to cobble together that clothing and armor, their ensemble, if you will, from what I can find on eBay. See what sort of deals I can find on 1/6 items there. So my main goal is to give the character a look that is at least strongly reminiscent, or very much in the spirit of, I guess, the character's portrait. And I would like to add that the NPC stands for non-player character in Dungeons and Dragons. That's the type of character that Minsc is. He's an NPC. But the NPC portraits for both games, for BG1 and 2, they're exceptionally good. In fact, I think that the BG1 portraits in particular are just amazing. They're beautiful. So that's one of the reasons that I want to start with those. But also, I like the game better. Most people like BG2 better. I'm a BG1 fan. So here's a quick view of an assortment of items that I've come across thus far on eBay. I feel that they're suitable for Minsc. They should work pretty well for him. And I'm thinking now to find leather chest armor for him, and mainly because that would expose his biceps, you know, to like show off his strength. That he's such a big burly guy. I'll probably use the chainmail that I found, that chainmail coat for Khalid, but we'll talk about him eventually in a future video. And on my blog I include the links for all these different items, so you can see. I mean, by the time you click on them, maybe, you know, they'll be sold out or whatever, but you know, it's just to give you a flavor. Actually, just this morning I went ahead and I purchased the leather boots that I've shown here for 13 bucks plus shipping. I hope this was a good purchase. You know how it is with eBay, and especially for a hobby like this. The description suggests that they're knockoffs from the Assassin's Creed line of 1/6 figures by Damn Toys. They look pretty good in the picture, so hopefully they're good knockoffs. I mean, it's hard to beat that price, right? 13 bucks. I'm still keeping an eye out for a red cape for Minsc. I often see him sporting one in Wizards of the Coast artwork that I've come across so far. Sometimes the cape is purple as well, but I agree with the red color because it kind of creates a nice contrast with that purple head tat that he has, that head tattoo, that sort of bullseye thing over his falls over his eye as well. Anyway, that's about it for this introduction. Hopefully this is something that you do find interesting, and you'll follow me by subscribing, and please follow the blog as well. If you give this video a like, I'll really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.